Workshop meeting for November 12th, 2025 will come to order. Roll call.
Michael Blizia.
Here.
Vincent Cutterford.
Here.
Joseph Seibert.
Here.
Teresa DeAndrea. Jeffrey Miller.
Yes.
Gregory Walters.
Here.
Norman Ritchie.
Here. Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, the first item of business will be discussion and possible action on North Point properties.
Jim thinks we should, Jim,
It's calling for the acquisition of real estate. You probably want to discuss that in executive session. It's up to you guys, but that's, so I'd put that at the end and do executive session, then come back and talk about it.
okay.
Okay, then we'll move on to the second item of business. Discussion and resolution for non-uniform pension plan.
Gentlemen, the pension plan that we presently have, and what I'm saying, the plan, it goes back into the 1990s, maybe even a little bit before that, is when we were with the PSAB. And what we did is had our actuarials, and this was like maybe a year ago, go through the plan, not to change anything as far as benefits or anything along that line, but to kind of bring it up to verbiage, expand on some verbiage, and to just bring it up to standards. And also, if you look at page, I hope I have it marked in this one, which I don't. Yes, bear with me. Page 6, the highlighted area has been added in. And what this area is primarily the eligibility, upon presentation to council for previous waivers of participation. That was added in there, which will take care of any audit findings, or we didn't have any findings that could allude to a finding. So that was updated to eliminate that. And then page 8, 3.02 just indicates at what point that the contributions were no longer needed from the employees, and that was 1999. And that is really about it. Everything else is pretty much just standard language or expelled upon from the previous contract, not contract, plan. But it was brought up to newer standards, I should say, better explanations that may have been in the other one, again, done by our actuarial service. Now, the point here being is that to accept this, you would have to pass the resolution that is accompanied with this. Again, it has no bearing on, any changes, any benefits other than what had already, gone through.
Those are the only two updates, that the highlighted ones.
That's all we have.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but both of them do say if any action is to be taken, it has to be by resolution of council on both of them. So we would be
It's
made
done.
aware of anything that might happen.
Right, and
We should be.
yeah, so this is the entire, the resolution is for the entire plan.
Right.
I was just pointing out to you the newest ones.
Right.
I'm sorry?
The lump sum on 14, page 14.
Yes. Oh, yeah, the only other thing is that after page 14, the only other thing that was changed was the lump sum option, and they're saying, the option form of payment shall be eliminated by any participant hired after November 12th, 2025. So what they're saying is, you know, there is an option in here, so everybody's in the plan can take a lump sum out. But what they're saying, from this point forward, you can't do that, because what happens is, when you're working actuarially and everything else, you're pulling out a large sum of money out of the plan, which then skews, you know, some of the findings. So that's what they're saying here, but that's effective if it's approved today,
So everybody in the plan can pull lump sum.
right now.
But if someone gets hired tomorrow,
They can't.
they don't have that option.
They don't have
from here
that
going
option.
forward.
And again, that's, again, to protect the plan and its solvency.
Anybody else have any questions?
So you have to vote on the resolution.
Okay, I guess we need a
Motion.
motion for the resolution.
I'll make a motion that we accept the resolution to the non-uniform pension fund.
I'll second it.
We have a first by Councilman Belizia, second by Councilman Miller. Roll call?
Gregory Walters,
Yes.
Jeffrey Miller,
Yes.
Vincent Cutterford,
Yes.
Michael Blizia,
Yes.
Joseph Seibert,
Yes.
and Norman Ritchie.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Okay, the next item of business is to review the 2026 budget.
Now, gentlemen, what I'm gonna explain to you here, the reason we have this workshop, this is a very, very preliminary budget. And the reason we're doing this is we need your input and want your input on the formation and putting this budget together. What we did look at in some of the primary things was, we have a lot of infrastructure work, as we had discussed, in our utility areas, electric, water, and sewer. A considerable amount of infrastructure, and we've been negligent in going over the previous years and raising raising the rates. So what we're looking at, and we have in this, again, this is very preliminary, electric, 20%, water, 20%, and a $5 increase in sewer, and the millage, 1.5 to go from 10.3 would go to 11.8. And again, just in the electric alone, we did one half of the substation, we have the other half that has to be completed, and that's over $100,000 at this point. There are areas that have to be done in the town where poles are behind buildings and that should be pulled out into the street areas. Primarily, you're looking into the north.
The paper alley going between North and Norman.
Yes, that has to be, and did look at it, that it is possible for us to go around the outside, you know, perimeter, and do it. And because most of the houses, a matter of fact, all the houses had their services on the sides. But it's a project that should be looked at, because right now, it's very difficult for us to get to those utility poles to do any work. And the other problem you have is on the quads. Behind the quads, we had earlier pulled, the transformers were behind the buildings. We went ahead and years ago, I pulled all the transformers out to the parking lots. They could be serviced easily there. But you still have poles behind the buildings that we cannot get anything to. There is no way on some of these buildings that we can get to those poles. If we have to do any line work, where a line may have been broken or time, you have to go in with a ladder, and then you have to climb the pole and hang from the pole and then try to get it done. To replace a pole would be extremely difficult. So I'm just saying, that's something to look forward, to happening just in the electric aspect. But the primary thing is, getting some of this substation work done. Water, there's just a monument of monumental items that have to be done in the water department. Well, one, the chlorine contact tank has to be replaced. You're probably looking about $50,000 there. We have the CCT, corrosion control, as you know, that we've been going through with the engineering. That's gonna have to be going through, and you have the PFAS. That's also coming up. That's gonna be extremely expensive in the testing area and implementation if we do have to do remediation anywhere. You do have some cast iron lines in town that should be replaced. And these are all items that need to be attended to. Also, in the water, we had acquired generators through federal access. We didn't pay for them. We have them all in position, but you're probably looking to tie them in. You're looking around $35,000 to tie them into our wells, that they're operational. And we're not looking for automatic transfer switch. We're just looking for manual, but right now, we have them sitting there, but they have to be tied in, and some of these wells need extensive electrical work. So, in the water aspect, there's considerable amount, and as I just said, you have some cast iron pipes, mains in this town, particularly on Carbon Street, that should be replaced. So there's enough infrastructure work there too. Sewer department, we have I&I situations, infiltration and inflow, that have to be corrected. And what that does is, when it rains, the water is seeping into our system through manholes, through old pipes, and you're actually processing rainwater and stormwater, and you're paying for that. So it's an I&I problem that, has to be looked at and remediated. We have been doing it over the years, but it is a substantial amount that you just can't tackle it all in 1 year. It's going to be an ongoing project. Also, the PLC boards that we have that operate the whole entire sewer system, the plant and its processing, are obsolete. And a PLC board is nothing more than one board that does a specific thing. Like it runs a blower and it tells the blower when to go off and when to go on. It's not like a big computer. Every board does a certain factor. That is now obsolete. The whole system has to be converted over to, a computerized system. And most of the box cabinets that we have down there would go away. That you see, if you ever walked in there, there's a whole wall of cabinets. Well, they're all filled with PLCs. They're obsolete. Now, we're winging by, but they have to be upgraded and replaced. What they call, we have a grit system that has, over the years, has failed. And to put in a grit system, what that means is, in your sewer lines, there's a certain amount of grit, dirt, whatever, that accumulates, and when it gets down, it goes through the pumps, and when it comes into the system, it goes into our tanks. And at the bottom of the tanks, I don't know if you've ever seen our tanks are like 26 feet deep. And they're activated sludge, so you have little microbes down there that eat the organic material, and then the clear water comes to the top, it's drained off. Well, this grit, every 5 years, we have to shut down a tank, and we have to kind of drain it down, and then we have to have a company come in and then suck all the sludge, out of it. What we're looking to do here, in that generally runs every 5 years, you're talking anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000 to have that done. What you're looking here is to have the equipment that actually pulls the grit out before it even hits those tanks. And again, it saves on your pumps, and it also, it's a cleaner process for a sewer system. But in any case, you're probably looking at over $100,000 right there on that. Then, again, you have infrastructure, and your sewer system and the piping and everything else, that should be upgraded, you know. So you need these increases to be able to keep up with these infrastructure, you know, situations that have accumulated over the years. And,
Harold,
yes.
does that grit system get rid of them coming in and cleaning the tanks?
To a point. What happens is you do want your tanks clean, but the amount, what you're paying for is as they actually suck this material out of it, you're paying for how much you're being taken out. So if we're paying full weight, you may be paying 18 to 20,000 depending on how long you wait. Generally it's 5 to 7 years. You may cut that down that you have it done in 5 years, but it only cost you, you know, 10,000 or 7,000 as opposed to, you know, a full weight. It depends on how much grit is in it, you know, that it charges by, you're paying by the truckload basically to get it out of there and have it sucked out. Once they do it again, you know, you guys should go down and watch it. It's a hell of a system. And again, like I said, there's other infrastructure, you know, within the system that has to be done. Now, what's gonna happen, and we've seen it, DEP and EPA are requiring a lot more testing on sewage. And even that to the point, Tracy, if I'm right, didn't we see something that they were looking at lead and coppers? Now, we look for lead and coppers in the water system itself. That's a test that we have to do, and that's what we're going through right now, but they also now are gonna turn around and look at it in the wastewater system. So, lead and copper, granted, our lines that go from our mains to the curb stop are generally copper. And then going into your house from the curb stop in, and in throughout your house is generally copper, unless you have a newer one where you went with the PEX system. Well, what they're saying is, you know, the leaching of that copper is what they're looking for, the testing of that. And they're looking for it in our system, in the water system, and they also look for it in the wastewater system. And I think PFAS will also follow through, you know, into the sewer system eventually. But it's becoming a very hot item in the water system right now. So these are items that we have to do to keep that system up and running and servicing you, you know, the way it should be. And then we turn around and we say in 1.5 mils. You enjoyed 6.3 mils for a very long time. And there is, again, we have infrastructure, roads that need to be improved, storm systems that need to be improved, and this is all part of that particular, your street, your snow plowing. We need new trucks, you know, for dump trucks and everything else. So now, not to say that, you know, we go for grants, believe me, to the point that, you know, please, no more grants, but we write a lot of grants here. And we will continue, you know, to do so. I'm sure Tracy will continue with that. But again, to keep our infrastructure up in the street systems, more stormwater systems, your police department, again, your street department, your parks, everything, we have to have those millage increases, because we just seen it, and I don't know if you were following it, but we just tried to bid our park to have the basketball and pickleball. We bid this thing like 3 times. We had $250,000. Now, before we go for a grant, we check prices everywhere. We work with our engineers, contractors, give us estimates, you know, where will this come in? We go for a $250,000 grant, the prices came in double that what it was. And we're seeing that in just about everything now. And that was only over a 2-year period. That grant for that park was a 3-year grant, but they told us right after we started with it that you will not be able to start construction until after the 2nd year. That only gave us 1 year, and how much building time to, but in that case, what I'm saying is the prices had gone up so much that it almost doubled. It did double in some cases, where you're gonna see, we're gonna be finished and the fencing won't be up, because the fencing originally, that when we had gotten prices, was around $40-some thousand, went up to 84,000 and 113 or 114,000. That's crazy. But this is what we're facing in our equipment and in materials and everything else. So that's why you're gonna have to see another, you know, a 1.5 mil increase. This is what we're proposing. Council, it's entirely up to you how you want to deal with this. We're just throwing this out to you. These are proposals that, you know, we're giving you. Another thing, gentlemen, health insurance has gone up. Single insurance, health insurance has gone up $1,663.92, and family insurance has gone up $3,573.96 in 1 year. So these are other things that, you know, we have to deal with. So, that being said, I can take you, if you go to your revenue page, which is this one. And what you're looking at is, like, under the real estate tax, there would be the increase of 490 to the 490,000 from 406. Per capita pretty much stayed the same. Your prior year real estate, we're just estimating $2,000 up. Real estate transfer tax, pretty much the same as last year at 25,000. Earned income tax, around 240, 10,000 up from the previous year. We're estimating the liquor license tax at 500. Police fines and police income and state police fines, our fines, 35,000 have gone up from 30,000, and state police remained at 2,000. Park receipts are 50,000, and that's primarily from the concession stand. We run that concession stand at a almost break even. We'll make every year anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000 profit. But what that did is it gave everybody an opportunity to feed your family for $20, and we do employ people. So it's not a losing proposition, but it's not a big money maker, but it's for you. It's for the people and the kids, that you can give them $10 and they can go and eat. Building permits, we're estimating at the same at 2,500. Packard Township, they'll be up to $34,992. That's their fire protection contract with the fire company. Garbage collection will remain the same. Miscellaneous income, we're still at 11,000, same as last year. Sale of borough equipment, we're saying around 10,000. We had 20,000 last year. We are estimating, and this year we're going to say 10,000. CDBG revenue, maybe 5,000 from leftover mortgages that we hold. Transfer from the electric company, 875,000, as opposed, like last year, 875. Transfer from sewer, 59,000, and 59,000 this year. Transfer from water was 47 last year, and we're knocking down to 27 this year. Your health insurance copay is around 12,234. Rental fee from the magistrate's office is 32,319. Local service tax is 30,000. Utility, public utility tax we receive is 800. We're saying a reserve of 30,000, hopefully. Department of Audit of Firemen's Relief. Don't necessarily put that in as an income, because that money comes to the borough, and then we turn around and we write it right to the fire company. So that belongs to the fire company, but it comes to the municipality, and then we turn it over to them. That's their fireman relief. School resource officer, the reimbursement, saying around $50,000. We estimated 60,000 last year. Any carryover is 30,000, and tax anticipation loan around 100,000.
Why did this resource officer go down?
We estimated last year, we didn't,
We don't have a contract with the school?
yes, we do.
Okay.
But again, it's the amount of time that they're up
Oh,
there.
it's,
or they
okay,
execute.
gotcha, okay.
So we kind of just, you kind of estimate it, because they also asked us not only to do the school coverage, but there were sometimes they covered events or whatever, so we never know just exactly if they're gonna cover a basketball event or go cover a meeting or something like that. So in the general fund, we're looking at 2,893,383.49. Quickly in the electric,
I got a question.
yes,
Very first line,
yeah, that 360 is not there.
okay.
Under the electric, what we're looking at is, again, a 20% increase. Now, you've all heard about what's going on with the RPM and everything else, and the governor has gone in and, sued the PJM for, raising these prices and everything. The RPM, Reliability Pricing Model, is something that we get billed in every municipality, not municipality, every electric company gets billed, is what it is. The PJM covers 13 states, and the PJM moves the electric through these states to where it has to go. Now, when we buy our electric, everybody says, oh, we get it from Amp-Ohio. No, we do not get our electric from Amp-Ohio. We buy it from NextEra. Amp-Ohio's job is to get it from where it comes generated to us. And that's a complicated system of moving that energy through the PJM system, then it comes to the PP&L system, and then to us. Now, that's where your transmission charges come in, but also what the RPM is, every year, the PJM goes out and requests, what they need is, like, when it's extremely hot, they need more energy. When it's extremely cold, they need more energy. So they go out and they want generators to give them prices on how much it's gonna cost per kilowatt, or could be, megawatt, however they do it, and the numbers come back. Well, what has happened is the amount of generation out there has dropped. All the coal-fired plants are going away and everything else, so there's very few generation out there. And what the PJM also did find out is the fact that where they may have gone to a supplier who said, I can supply you 20 megawatts, they can't. And when it comes down to it, they may be only giving you 15 or 18 megawatts. So what happened is there's fewer generators out there to bid on this, and the price went up. But that gives you, it's your reliability. Your reliability is in the fact that when it's super cold, you're gonna have more, your energy is gonna be available to you. If you noticed many years ago in Texas, where, maybe it was just last year, and it was in the summer, they had the heat waves and everything else, and they couldn't keep up. People were out of energy for a long time. They had no reliability backup generation. That's what this is all about. Now, the governor turns around and suing the PJM and saying, hey, you can't be hitting people with these big prices. Just so you guys know, just in a quick example, is that generally on our utility bill, we used to pay anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 a month on the RPM. Now we're up over $25,000 on that every month that it's hitting us. And not just us, I'm saying it hits PP&L, or PP&L they're called yet, and every other electric distribution company, who's out there. So it's not us sitting here saying, we need infrastructure work, but we also have to cover this cost. So it is quite expensive, and just to bring you, up to date on where it's at as far as the RPMs costing are. But it has been a substantial increase. So we're looking at that to cover that aspect and infrastructure work that has to be done. Now, when you look at our numbers that we charge per 1,000 kilowatt, we are still less. Even with this increase, you will still be less than PP&L. And I don't care who out there says, no, you're wrong. we have this done by engineers, and it's done by the engineers comparing us to everybody else, you know, and we're still under PP&L. I live in PP&L world, I bring my bill in here and say, here are my kilowatts, run the bill, and it's still cheaper here than, I'm not saying $10, $15, but you're still below PP&L, so. So in any case, what we're saying is our revenue coming in is gonna be $3,775,416.89. And that's what we're looking at as projecting as our revenue, hopefully, you know, for the electric. Water, again, a 20% increase with, again, there we have a lot of infrastructure work that has to be done, bringing it up to $590,165.40. Sewer, just increasing it by $5, which comes to $60,000 a year. Brings it up to $721,986. And just so you understand, in water and sewer, we do a lot of testing, and DEP, you know, is right there requiring all these tests that we have to go through, and if you're like borderline on where you should be, you know, then there's remediation we have to do as far as, you know, what has to be done chemical-wise or something else. So, gentlemen, this is what I'm presenting to you. If you want to make any changes in this, just let us know now. We can do that as we go through the expense side of it. I've just reviewed the revenue side. Any questions on revenue?
Yeah, I got one. On the electric department, for health insurance copay, it's $300. Then in the sewer department, which you only have one more guy, it's $3,600. How could there be such a difference?
I don't know, we have to look at
Josh
these.
and Matt are both out of sewer.
They're both out of sewer.
Right,
Right.
so you have one guy in.
You have one
electric
guy in electric,
And two guys in,
sewer.
and you're $3,300 more in sewer.
Yeah.
Dawn's also,
Huh?
Dawn is split.
Donnie's gone.
Dawn's split.
Donnie's not in electric.
Is that single
Right.
versus family rates? Maybe that the number is that
Yeah,
dramatically
it
different.
could be. So, I mean, that's where we stand. If you guys, I mean, this is kind of like the essence, gentlemen. If you have any qualms right now, we have to know how you feel about a 20% increase in electric, 20% increase in water, and a $5 increase in sewer. This is the heart of the budget, you know. If you don't agree with this, then I have to know now, and we have to make changes.
Well, when we said you said 20% increase in the water, that's only gonna be like $1 or $2, right?
Yeah, it's not a very big impact. Right now, it is so low right now, the rates that, Lori, a family of, what, 4
It was around 2,000.
gallons is what in a bill? Just off the top here.
With the new rate, I'm not sure.
Well, don't go with new rate. Just
It's probably about maybe 20-some dollars.
$20-some for water
Over
Does-
what period of time?
a month.
Okay.
So
$20-some
in effect, it's still gonna be in the $20-some range, like,
Yeah.
so if it's like 25, it's still like
Exactly.
28 or something.
Exactly.
Something to that effect.
Well, like people that have private water, like Aqua and stuff, are paying like what? What do they pay a month?
I will say this, it is considerably more. You're probably looking, I can't even,
Tomaco's $50-some. It's $50-some for sewer and $50-some for water.
Are they with
Each.
Aqua?
Each.
It's about
Are they with
$26.
Aqua, or are they just,
I
that's their bill?
can't confirm.
$26.
I know, I
2,000 is
But that's
about
what they pay.
That's what they
$26
pay,
a charge.
that's their
Okay.
rates.
these MPs, as you're looking at them, 20%, when you're looking at what our rate is now, is hardly anything. It's on, you're moving up maybe $1 or $2, you know? But again, it's, I mean, you could hit this really hard and put a hell of an impact on people, but to do this a little bit more gradual and that people, you know, adjust to it, and again, a 20% impact in water is like nothing, because the rate is so low. But you need infrastructure work. If everybody is okay with that, if anybody has any objections, please let us know so we can move, you know, make any adjustments. Again, this is very, very preliminary budget. You know, the council at their regular meeting will approve a preliminary budget, and then what we need is their feedback here on what we're presenting, so. Okay, if we look at the expense side, and we'll go over personnel, you know, separately. And what you have, and I will say, this, Tracy has done a lot of the heavy lifting on this one, on the budget. And I expect her hair to start turning gray soon. You see some of the, under the personnel and section of the administration, the amount of change from budgeted last year, you know, you're looking at about 19,000 there. Primarily, just in minimal increase here.
Why, the unemployment comp seems as though it's
Yes,
went way up.
yeah, and that's pretty much based, not so much as, it's more based on the formula that we looked at as opposed to, you know, the way we were calculating it before. And if you look also that disability insurance is in there too.
Do we pay unemployment comp insurance?
Yeah.
Okay.
Going through the next section, total other services, again, a lot of things stayed true or as they were compared to last year.
And how did office supplies go from 2025 to that big drop in 2026?
Office supplies. Oh, okay. Under the office supplies there, that's where we were putting in all our computer work and everything else. Now that's gonna be a separate line item. So office supplies included computers and everything else. We pulling that out separately, where office supplies is now just like office supplies.
How can we drop postage so much when it continually goes up?
Because we bought 2 years worth of postage now.
Did we ever think
Before it
about
went up.
bulk mail?
Yes.
You wanna tell them about bulk mail?
Bulk mail, for one thing, you'd have to get a permit, and we have to take it to Hazelton to have it sent out. But if you do bulk mail, it's considered junk mail. So when the bills go out, if it's undeliverable, it gets thrown out. We would never get it back to know that somebody didn't, you know, that we can't deliver it there anymore, and we will not get forwarding addresses anymore. The post office actually encouraged us not to do it if we want to know that information.
See, I was there today and they encouraged us to get it, because it's like half the cost.
It's half the cost, but Mel says they treat it like junk mail. It's not first-class mail. It doesn't go out as first-class mail. I don't know, that came from Mel, because she said you were in there, and she didn't think she'd be there when you came back, so she left a note, so I don't know who you talked to. So that was one of the reasons why we dropped it to begin with, because we were gonna have to take it to Hazelton every month. But now, the junk mail is, or the bulk mail is considered second-class mail, junk mail, and we wouldn't get anything back.
But I'm gonna look at that, the office supplies.
I think that's low.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that has to be adjusted. Okay. Tax collection, if nobody has any questions in that section. Tax collection is pretty much based on, you know, the amount of taxes collected and advertising and everything else. So that's pretty much, you know, where it stands. The Barrel Complex, we're talking about the whole building here in this area, in our cost. When you're looking at wages there, you're looking at a cleaning person, you know, here. Utilities usually are running us around 16,000. Propane around 7,500 or less. Miscellaneous supplies, maybe 1,000. Miscellaneous services, 1,000. Supplies, 3,000. Maintenance and repairs, 10,000. We just had an incident where we had to replace the unit that takes care of the police department server, the air conditioning HVAC unit that's specific for that. That was around $4,000. We had to replace it. Just went out of warranty. And also, same thing happened with the compressor over in the magistrate's office. So, we're looking at the police department. We have some things that we'll be discussing. We'll have to go into executive session and discuss some of these items. But the other items is miscellaneous services. We have it 65,000. That includes, what we're covering under that, Tracy, if I'm right or wrong here, that's all the camera download and Taser, Axon, and everything else that we have to pay. When they have their camera systems on and they pull in here, the car is downloaded automatically to a cloud. Same thing with their cameras, body cams that they have. We also pay for that. We pay for Tasers systems that have to be, you know, updated and maintained. There's various other systems that we have to maintain for them. It also includes what they had is Kodi, and now they went to Pathfinder, which is the police department, and every police department has to keep records of their incidents. Correct, officer?
That's right.
And this is software that is used to maintain those systems. Now, the police department also has to report to the state police on incidents and everything else. And these softwares compile that information in a format that is then, that they can, is deliverable to the state police and other government, you know, policing agencies. I can tell you that it is not a cheap system. And it's not just that it's this borough, it's every municipality that has a police department. So that's part of the big deal there too. IT is our computers and any other electronic computing software, whatever we have, backups, to cover us, every computer that we have. And the police department has to have a certain separate ability from us. They're autonomous. We can't have the same systems talking to each other. They have to stand alone and be separated from us. And actually what's gonna happen is we're gonna have to wind up being a government agency. We're gonna have to become autonomous to everything else. We have a lot of firewalls and everything else in our systems. It's becoming more and more that we're gonna be required that we have more autonomy here. And that's not just this borough, it's everywhere. So the police departments have to be totally segregated, that nothing can interfere with, from us to them, or anybody from the outside can get to the police department. So that's part of the IT, and also part of the updating computers, servers, and everything else. Now, we are working with our IT people that some of the fees that we're paying for our backup, that our entire systems are backed up in case something happened, they're looking that we're gonna be able to go to a more economical system, but more, and also more thorough. So hopefully, we're gonna be able to save money in that aspect. So, but we're working with them on that, but as you know, in the world today, everything is computer generated, and you have to keep up. It's just like, we were doing credit cards, and everybody loved it, only to find out that there's a credit card regulations that we have not been able, we couldn't follow, we had to stop it. And now we are looking into the service that will tie into our computer system, our billing system, that you will be able to go online, look at your utility bill, pay your bill. But people think that this is a snap of the finger. It is not. There's a lot involved in not only in incorporating these softwares together, it's incorporating through our server, autonomously, and everything else. So I've been yelled at that you've been down for 4 months and I can't pay my bill. I wish it were that you could snap a finger and things happen, but they don't. In this world today, between software, merging and everything else that's involved in the computer systems, we hope that within the next few months we'll be able to give that to you, that you can go online, look at your bill, look at your history of your bill, everything else. It's going to be quite impactful, and pay your bill online. So we're looking toward that. Again, office supplies. Uniform allowance and such, repairs and maintenance, primarily on the vehicles. We have a cruiser payment yet that we should be finishing up on. Just so everybody knows, generally the way it had worked before, the police cruisers that you say, oh gosh, you know, blah, blah, blah. Generally wrote a grant to get a police cruiser. Cruisers go somewhere, anywhere from $75,000 to $100,000 for a police cruiser. I've been writing grants for you to get a cruisers for almost as long as I've been here. The other thing that I did have to buy one recently, and that's what that payment is, because unfortunately, 2 of them went down at the same time. And the reasons people may say, you have so many police cars. Well, if you lose a police car or 2 police cars, you're in trouble. You have to have the reliability there, you know. It's not just that they're sitting there. You need the reliability, you know, of the functioning cars. Fire department. I have also in your packet, there is a letter or thing from the fire chief indicating what he feels and an explanation of what they would need in their budget. Again, I can leave you to review these. We pretty much followed through in here. If anybody has any questions, or he indicates, you know, what has to be done there. The hydrostatic testing and some of the other items that need to be worked on, the overall budget. He gives the budget overview, excuse me, for 2026. If there's any questions or any changes that you would like to, you know, to make to this. Again, this budget is at your disposal to change and do whatever you would like to do. giving you needs and options for revenue, so. Nobody has any questions in the fire department. Moving on to zoning and planning. And there again, there are minimal changes from the previous. As you know, the zoning and planning have improved, and we will be coming to you more than likely in the beginning of the year that your zoning permits, your building permit rate should be increased. I mean, $7.50 for a zoning permit is a little archaic.
Do you annually do a new fee schedule?
No, and that's what has to be
Yeah,
done.
it should be.
But right now, we'll be presenting that to council next year, or at the end of this year. But there is work, that has to be done as far as the zoning ordinance and such. Okay, if nobody has anything there, health services, that's your health re-inspections, also quality of life, that also goes into with zoning. Any questions on that one? The garbage, you have your 5-year contract, it's just a continuation of the contract. Park department, primarily, there's areas we'll discuss in, the one question we do have is fishing. What's council's take on the fishing program? You want to move forward with it? Do you want to hold off on it? Or we need some type of help here, some guidance into this area.
Would you like to get a couple part-time people to run it?
Well, yes, and you'll see that, that's also included. We put a number in here, and that would be for 3 part-time people working 3 days for 12 weeks. That's all we're looking at, if you choose that you want to continue with it. If not continue with it, if you want to do it, we haven't even.
Well, we did make a promise to do it several times. So,
I'm just looking for council's input.
I'm
If
just
you want to
saying,
do it, or,
because if we just up and drop it, we're gonna hear
Fish
it.
are there, we might as well do it.
What's that?
Fish are there, we might as well do
Yeah, we
it.
got the building, right?
yeah, the building's out.
Building's there, we
Yeah.
bought the equipment.
Well, let's move forward. If it doesn't work out, we just scrap it. And we use the building for something else. I don't know.
I'm just here, just asking.
I mean, at least now you have time to hire
Put it
people
together.
as opposed to trying to throw it
Right.
together
At the,
Middle of
during the
August
season,
when-
right.
people are back in school. Is there any, like, how old do they have to be to like work there? Like, I know there's certain things with the stand, because of fryers and
Yeah,
things
with
like
the
that.
stand, because we have open fryers and everything, you have to be 18 and over. Generally, I'd want somebody, you'd want somebody at least 16 or 17 years at least,
Okay,
because of the child labor laws,
just kind of curious.
you know,
It
you
opens
just
up
want to
options.
keep us in the safe zone.
Right.
Okay, so that's good. We know what we're doing there. Okay. Any other questions on the park? And again, anything as far as personnel we'll deal with later. Street department, what we're looking at through here. Yeah, we up snow removal. And what that is, generally what happens when we have a large storm or whatever, and we have guys from the street department, and then you also bring in water department or sewer department, we charge them here. you know, not out of the water department or sewer department or electric department or whatever. They get charged here to that account, to the snow removal. Or if we have such a bad storm, I've had occasions where the storm was so bad that we brought in like Feaster or somebody with a loader and a dump truck to move the snow out of the streets. We've done that, so that's where that would also come in. So, what we also did in the street department, capital projects trucks. We put $50,000 there. Now, $50,000 will not buy you a truck. But what you would do when you get a truck, you would lease it. Now, a lease is the same as, is different than a loan, because if you went for a loan, I don't know about anybody else, but that's a spam call. Commercial services. If you buy a truck, you're gonna go for the lease because there's less paperwork with it. If you go for a loan, you have to go through all kinds of reporting and everything else. A lease is the same as a loan, only for for government agencies like boroughs or what. It's easier to go through the bank, you do an RFP, get the pricing, get the best one, and you lease it, and at the end of the lease, you own it. So that would cover, you're looking at saying, we're saying $50,000, would cover your first year lease. Or less, you know, depends on what you're looking at. But we're throwing it in there to say the possibility is there.
You never heard anything on that grant you applied for?
Well, the reason you didn't hear anything is because there was no budget.
That's right. Yeah.
The state just signed the budget, and we had called numerous times, and they said, hey, as long as there's no budget, there's no grant coming out. So,
Hopefully you'll get a phone call soon.
I don't know that it'll be that soon, but maybe before the end of the year,
Yeah, that'd be nice.
you might hear something. But that was the reason you didn't hear on that.
If that grant would come through, does that negate that 50,000 that's right there?
Absolutely. If you get that grant, it was a $100,000 grant. You move that money to wherever you need it, you know? But I'm just, you know, throwing it out there. And then you have the 2022 street truck. That's the pickup payment. Okay, under miscellaneous, just picking up on, contributions that we do. We put the tax anticipation loan in here. Again, as an expense, we put it as a revenue, but it's one of those short terms, we go for it, we get it in January or February, and then you're paying it back in June. So that's, just a tax anticipation loan. Line of credit on this building, we're saying, payment of $36,000. Could possibly, we might be able to do more than that, but we'll see. Because the other aspect where we get the money from the magistrates, as long as we're solvent in other areas, you would take that money from the magistrate's rent and put that against the loan. The ambulance building is just primarily just utilities and maintenance of that building. Magistrate, again, it's just very simple, supplies, maintenance and repairs, and that's just being a landlord. Whatever, may come up or whatever, that we cover. Schwab School, there again, miscellaneous services 500, utilities are 150. That's it for right now. We'll be writing another grant that's due at the end of next week, or 2 weeks from now, for $500,000 for the demolition of the annex building on top of the already $250 we have. electric department. These numbers have, you know, when you're looking at health insurance and that, have come down only because they've chose not to, and you're working with one less at that point. Telephone, where you see it may have gone up to 10,000. When we hit every department, including the general fund departments, the electric, the water, and the sewer. When we say telephone, that covers everything. The phones that are sitting here at these desks, the phones that are out in the field, the phones that are carried by the individuals. It covers every aspect of that. So that's why you're seeing it like that. Postage, you see it very low at $300, and we just did that only because when we found out that the price of postage was going up, we started buying it. We have how many years?
I think it's about 2 years.
We have 2 years of postage now at this rate.
We invested in postage stamps.
Yes, we did.
Before
Well,
they went up.
We send 1,100 bills out. Take that times what, 70?
They were 73 cents then, I think. They went
Something
up
like
5
that.
cents.
And believe me, if there's a cheaper way of sending your bills out, and when we get that thing, if you can just go in, look at your bill and pay it online electronically, you save 73 cents. Okay, engineering fees we knocked down, hopefully to 6,000. Purchase power, that we had put up because we're looking at more now. When we say, you see budgeted for 25, and we're pretty much close to the same, but our numbers may have been coming in less than what we had estimated for that, 2025 year. Because again, you're not knowing weather conditions and everything else. Anything else in weather repairs and maintenance, we dropped it down to 75,000. However, that could change. Yeah, okay. Meters, we have a 10, repairs and maintenance, 75. Improvements, 14. We have a bucket truck lease. We probably have a few years on that yet. Transfer to electric equipment, 40,000. Transfer to electric equipment and the equipment, is pretty much, the same. And the transfer to the general fund, I see is we have 1,100,000 here, and I think in our transfer, in our general fund revenues, it was less. We had 875,000, Trace, so we have to correct that. In the expense side, we have 1,000,001, and in our revenue package, we have to change that up. Actually, we have to change this one down to 875 from 1,000,001. And again, this is a very preliminary. We're gonna make mistakes in this because we have so many cells linked to so many different spreadsheets. You make a change in one and hopefully it makes it in all the rest. Underwater. Major changes there in engineering fees from 25,000 up to 40,000. That's because of the CCT engineering that we're going through. That's corrosion control system that we have to be putting in because of our lead and coppers. And it wasn't so much that our leads were high, it's that the copper was high. And when the copper goes high, they want you to do some types of control. So our engineers are working with DEP and we're working on putting this together, but it's a very expensive proposition to satisfy DEP's requirements. Credit card fees, we hope what's gonna happen there is these credit card fees, and that goes for everywhere around, electric, water, and sewer, and in general, that these fees will be going down when we implement the new system. That you'll be able to pay direct, we'll be able to take your credit card here, but you'll be doing it online or by phone, not through us, but through a different agency. Miscellaneous supplies, again, we went up to 23,000 only because we don't know what else is gonna be involved in this CCT and PFAS. Chemicals, we have at 50,000 again. This is because of the corrosion control and the PFAS possibilities there. Meters and materials, we're finding that we're gonna have to move to a different meter. So what meters we do have now, we're going to be eliminating, and we're gonna go to a new metering system. Repairs and maintenance, we have at almost $95,000. Hopefully, we'll be able to meet that. Equipment's pretty much the same, equipment in each case. Transfer to general. Transfers to the general fund from electric, water, and sewer are primarily because we do the administration here. They may put the product out to you and everything else, but we do the billing, we take all the calls, we do all the service work orders, we do everything from here. So they're actually paying for the help contribute to the help here to do that work. So that's what that is. And that's pretty much it for the water department. Last department we're looking at is sewer. And again, utilities are gonna go up. Our utilities used to run, now, the sewer department is primarily all electric. Everything is dependent on electric for the sewer department. And we were running, our monthly bill used to be somewhere around 7,000. Now we're climbing up to in the teens now because of the increase in what we're paying for energy. Don't think that these guys and everybody else, we pay our electric bill. We don't get it, we don't say, oh, it's free, for here, this building. We pay the electric bill like you pay it, at the same rate, as a commercial building. So, nothing is free here, because we gotta pay our big electric bill. So without that, us paying it the way it should be, it wouldn't be happening, so. Their utilities are up to $120,000 a year, and that's another reason for an increase, that we're seeing those increases in that. Miscellaneous services, again, we went down through some smaller increases. Repairs and maintenance, we have around 52,000. Equipment, we have at 30,000. And you're looking at in capital expenditures of combining the two of $82,000. Transfer to general, is 60. Transfer to sewer equipment, maybe 11,000, and transfer to water fund is 8,000. So, gentlemen, what you're looking at is $7,930,951.77 as your entire budget. 7,980. Sorry. My contact bifocal isn't as good.
You want these? I need both.
So, gentlemen, if you have no questions in regards to this aspect of it, I would like we go into executive session and discuss some other parameters.
You want to open up the council, the people have any questions?
Yeah, anybody, questions?
I do. Why is the North Point property thing going into an executive?
Why is it going into executive? Because it's a possibility that we could be acquiring some real estate.
Can you expand on what that is? Because I think what we're all kind of concerned about is North Point is also, I don't know if it's the same company, but they are the development company for some data centers that are going up. I think they're looking at Packer Township.
Right.
And there's Project
Right.
Hazelnut in Hazelton, we just want clarification of what it is.
We are not selling to them, we are acquiring.
We are
may be
acquiring.
We will not put up a data center.
Okay.
We will not put one up.
Thank you.
Because I think it's
Yeah.
one
You sat through this
everybody-
just for that?
and everybody's pretty
No, we're acquiring, you know.
Okay.
Yes, we're aware of what they're doing in another municipality, not here.
Yeah,
And I
we're
can
actually from,
understand this, I don't care, within our borough limits, you do not have the open area to put a data center in.
Yeah, you
My
probably,
big concern is the water consumption is
Right,
being used.
yeah.
And the electric
And the
concern.
electric is being
Yeah.
used.
Yes, exactly.
I'm actually part of a project right now that is being affected by that.
Oh, I certainly believe that. They have a high water demand and electric demand.
yeah, I actually live near Ashburn,
Okay.
Virginia, where there's probably hundreds there. And a lot of the people, the residents there are complaining about noise, pollution,
Yeah,
and their electric's going
it's
up.
not about a data center.
Okay, well, that's good to know. I think a lot of people are concerned.
Yeah, believe me, the substation would have to be really, really increased. And it would, the water supply, based on what they're looking for, you would never be able to supply it here.
No, the one in Hazelnut alone is looking at 5 million gallons per day.
Impossible. Here,
You only receive about a third back.
yeah, no. No worries.
Okay.
No.
I'm not gonna say
We're-
no, not worry about this particular thing, you might have worries about other things, but this
Yeah,
one.
well, yes, let me say that. You clear your mind on data centers in the borough.
At least we heard the budget.
Huh?
We heard a lot of the budget too.
And just so you, everybody, just so you know, that PennDOT project, our aspect of the electric move is gonna be starting tomorrow on our temporary moves that we have to do for that project. So you're gonna see Hudsondale down to one lane tomorrow, and going forward, you're gonna see it occasionally during, hopefully before Thanksgiving, more often, that we can get our temporary lines to service the customers before 6 of those poles have to come down, so they can do their work in March of next year. So we are obligated to remove all our equipment by March 30th. So we want to do it now, not in January. And it's not that we delayed the move, we had to wait for PennDOT to approve all our costing that we were estimating that it would cost. You have no idea how much there is involved in this project, paperwork-wise. And location of poles, and where they were, and whose right-of-ways, and everything else. So we finally got the okay to go ahead about a week ago, so we're going ahead. Okay?
I wanted to ask about the trash company sold, right? Did any of their rules change when they were acquired?
I'm sorry, the what?
Any of the rules, did any of
Any
the
of the
rules
rules
change?
changed with the acquired, when Casella bought Tamaka Transfer?
He's talking
No,
about-
The
he's
rules
talking
no,
about
no,
garbage cans.
no,
From my experience, they're a little bit pickier. So
They're holding
I
us to
even
the
had
contract.
Well,
this week and they were
which-
sent back, which I
Yeah.
appreciate you guys doing.
they, right there, what's happening is they are honoring our contract, but they're honoring it to the word. Now, Tamaqua is, we have to agree, was kind of loose. I mean, you put some stuff out that, and they took, you know, it was very seldom, unless you pulled half a block of your house out there, they didn't take it, but they took pretty much everything that was out.
I didn't
This-
see them take that.
Yeah. But this company is, they're in and they're going by what the contract says.
So 6
And
bags
we
per
have made
household.
we had posted what was in the contract, and again, it may have been misconstrued, and if anybody has any questions about anything, you call this office here. These gentlemen, we try to keep informed as best we can, but things change rapidly. And we can't always get to them. Call here. We'll give you the most pertinent information that we have, and if not, we will find it. I know you want to go to your council people, but this is where everything is happening here. Call us. That's what we're here for. And again, it's a new garbage company, and again, they're following the letter of the contract. And what we also discovered is that they have a lot of new people who don't know the route and miss people and don't pick up some streets or areas, and, you know, we're dealing with it. But please, call here. That's what we're here for.
Kathy?
So I have a couple of questions or maybe just concerns about the effect of the budget. I hear a lot of proposals as far as increases here, increases there, increases everywhere. However, I don't hear where anyone has taken a look to see where they can address possibly duplication of services. We've looked at this with a fine tooth comb, we think that this is a place where we can make some cuts. The demographic in Weatherly, I think, is a lot, you have a lot of senior citizens in homes that possibly when they retired or they budgeted for their retirement, didn't expect 20% increases across the board in their sewer and their water and electric and everything. And I'm not saying that it's any different here than it is, we're poor little
Right.
towns, railroad towns. 20% may not sound like a whole lot, but when you're talking about a single person trying to stay in a home and they have an already $300 electric bill in the middle of the winter, it's an issue.
Mhm.
So I just want to ask the question that the budget has been looked at as far as from, okay, these are the increases, and I understand, I know everything goes up, but I'd like to just be assured that it's also been examined that there isn't much waste. There isn't.
Let me say this to you. Wherever we can spot it, we eliminate it in waste, you know? But understand this, I don't know how to explain this to you, but we are extremely busy here with 3 utilities running 3 utilities, with a police department, a street department, and everything else. So we may see it, and we want to correct it, and we do make corrections, but, and again, we are extremely busy. We may miss something. And these gentlemen right here, they're here, they have the eyes out there, and you have the eyes to help us, tell us, because sometimes we don't see it.
I have no I don't have any complaints.
No, but what I'm saying is, that's what we have to rely on, is you and these gentlemen, you know, what they get as input from you, for us to correct those problems.
But
So if we can, you know,
Okay, I hear what you're saying.
right,
And you know, and the street department, they all do a fine job. I don't have any complaints.
Right.
The electric department, I'm glad we have our own electric department.
yeah,
But I do think it's a little ironic. I don't have anything against fishermen, or fishing or any part.
right.
But if we're talking about these kind of increases, do we need 3 hired positions to give out fishing poles? Can it be done at the stand? Can it be community service by
Well,
17?
we can't, well,
I
have it,
just-
well, at the stand, no, because it's food. We cannot have people renting fishing poles or coming up with their fish there, or,
I mean, I just, you know, like, to me, if I'm pinching pennies.
Right.
And we have, how many lights do we have on in here tonight? I'm just saying, in my house,
Right.
at night, I have one light on in my living room. You know, and
Vinny, turn off the,
You do what you can do.
Right. To save money.
As much as we can.
well, let me say this, whether you, everybody here and everybody out there in the world that's gonna be seeing this, we changed all our streetlights to LEDs. And that was done many years ago, and we did it very gradually. But that saved a lot of money. Every streetlight we have is LED now. Every building we have is LED. So wherever we can, we make
I
that.
appreciate very much what she's saying, but just in the point, and you know these numbers off the top of your head, and I'm trying to look quick, but the non-use of the pool for swimming was costing the town how much?
$20,000 a year.
And we have $1,000 now on the side for somebody to give out the fishing pole, so we're netting a $19,000
Savings.
Nobody wanted to give up the swimming, we didn't wanna say that kids can't swim, but at the end of the day, we were selling how many passes, 6 passes or something crazy. Like, that's a hard decision, but just the same, it was just not being utilized, therefore the taxpayers' money was being wasted.
Well, see, and maybe this is some of the things that the public ought to be told as well.
Right.
Or know,
I agree.
that then.
And, well, it had been at the, and when we did away with swimming, it was brought up at that point that it was costing, you were paying for lifeguards, and believe me, lifeguards were a premium. In order to get the lifeguards out there, we had to pay for their education to be a lifeguard, which was $300 or $400. And then we were in competition with every other swimming pool around, Mock Chunk Lake, all the big swimming places. They were all looking for lifeguards and paying high dollars. And because of the area, we even reduced our area so we could reduce the number of lifeguards, but we still had to have 4 on.
I get it.
And we had to do chemicals, for the water. Now, granted, we can't bring it up to swimming pool quality, but we had to chlorinate it to a certain extent. So that all ran over $20,000, and you would get, well, let's put it this way, the residents swam free. That's what council had decided for, as long as I was here, they swam for free. It was the outside people, but maybe we made $1,000, $2,000 a year, if that, and that was a lot on swimming passes. That's why it was done away with.
Yeah, I don't have a problem, I'm not complaining.
No, but that there are things that we do see and we try to eliminate,
And even with the fishing, if that doesn't work out, we see we're not having to turn out, or it's costing us too much money. We'll pull.
You have to pay to fish, it's not for free.
Yeah.
I'd like, what you say about the lights being on, like, I'm literally the commercial I turned into my parents as a homeowner. Like, I just chase my kids around all the time and just turn lights off. And I have LED lights, but I still turn them off. And you look at this budget and it's crazy, you look at all these things and the services you get. I mean, with your taxes, you get great services by great departments, police, fire, electric, everybody. When the crap hits the fan, these guys are awesome. And you sit and I know you're not complaining, but when you look at the budget and you see like, oh, you have tires, you have maintenance, you have supplies, you have this, and all these things just keep going up. And it's the higher government that's kicking us in the head, making us spend all this extra money to, like I said, the police need to report to the state police, and that's a big computer fee. And then now you got the PFAS, like all the chemicals and everything. When you look at it, the one thing that could be actually eliminated from the budget, if you had to do it, is the park. I'm not advocating that, I'm saying,
Right.
that's the one thing that is not needed, but it's the one thing you don't wanna get rid of. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a big cost, but it's like, it is the one thing that, town has, use it for the festival and the people, the kids in the park. I mean, my kid lives at the
Bitty
park.
basketball, big.
But yeah, I mean,
I don't want to close the park.
no, and I know you don't, it's just like, I
just wanna
wish,
make sure, you're throwing lots of numbers and everything out that I don't know about, because
Right.
there usually aren't numbers like this at a regular meeting. Okay, so
Right,
for a
because
ordinary
this is,
person like me,
this is a budget.
Yes, I know, I do household, but most of us do household budgets. I get it. I'm just saying that I wanna know that you're looking at.
Oh, yeah.
ways
Oh,
to-
absolutely, this isn't just helter-skelter spend, No.
Well,
that's why when I pointed out that the water's gonna go up 20%, but it's actually just gonna be $2. You know, it sounds like a big number, but it's not really gonna be a lot.
And it's still cheaper than most of the surrounding areas, that's the
My
problem.
total electric home is gonna be a lot more.
Well,
For the electric.
and we're paying, well, unfortunately, we're paying more,
Yeah.
Which is another thing completely out of
right?
our,
Well,
Control,
I
and it
get But
stinks.
it's out of control. I mean, if you have people trying to maintain households in proper condition, that aren't run down, and it doesn't look like a whatever, and it's difficult all around, just because
There are aspects that can help them.
I'm just,
LIHEAP is available to those people, that they can get help. And if somebody needs help, they can come to us, and we can put them to agencies or programs that are out there that are available to help people, particularly in the winter. Right, you have it
Yeah.
all the time with LIHEAP. So, come and see us, you know?
I'll go as far as to say, and I know that they cringe, but I will guarantee you there has not been a week in this borough that somebody from council has not come questioning the price of something somewhere on some front. And I say that without any.
Honestly.
hesitation. Honestly, we're always like bringing a paper, bringing a number, bringing a this, why is this like that? Because people like yourself bring certain things to our attention, and it might be to Councilman Miller, but then he comes down and says, hey, you know, somebody pointed this out, why is this? So not a week goes by that we are not down there
Right.
asking questions, I promise you, I promise.
Now we got two people to bother.
Yeah.
Well,
We get
no,
questions or whatever.
you,
Well, for a little bit.
for a little bit, yeah. Very little bit.
And I will tell you this as well, we are in some of the predicaments we are, and I don't care, I stand behind this, because of how previous councils have tried so hard to keep the costs down. There is somebody sitting up here with us right now that we approved on paper that eggs cost $4. And we all said, we understand we have to charge $4 for the eggs because that's what we have to charge. And there's one gentleman that sits up here and said, can't we just do it for $3 for one more year? Because people can't afford the $4th dollar. And I'm not exaggerating, it happened. You know, and I'm like, but we can't fix the egg carton. Like, we proved it to you, but there's still, we don't take this stuff lightly. The last thing in the world I want to see is more anything. I would like to drop things down, but we're being regulated into the dirt. The state just keeps, they're forcing us to do so many extra things all the time. It's very maddening for us, honest, I swear to you it is. And my heart breaks for people that are trying to get their bills, but we really do. There's guys writing numbers, everybody's looking at these numbers, they're writing things down, we're seeing stuff, we're looking at stuff, we're questioning stuff literally.
okay, I
while
want you
it's
to look at stuff and question stuff, that's what I
And,
expected.
and also bear in mind that in my term that I had been here, we brought in close to $10 million in grants to this town.
Do they all get used?
Yes. You don't go for a grant and send it back. You do not do that.
I'll
They
be
all
honest
get
with you,
used.
No, I was gonna tell you, I've been here about 18 years, and every year we go through this. And for years, Harold, we wanna keep our water and sewer. We don't wanna sell it, okay? So we gotta put some money back into it. And it's partially my fault, I admit it, that for years Harold said, hey, let's do something. And we, like you are, we wanted to keep the cost down. I went on disability back in 16, you know, so I'm not raking it in either. But in the meantime, by me thinking like that, it kinda hurt the sewer and water departments, you know? So right now, we gotta kinda watch, we gotta try to rebuild them and keep everything else where it's supposed to be.
There were many years where I proposed increases, and again, not major, but if you had done it little by little over the years, we'd be solvent and good. But nobody would, they were worried about, you know, the
Our
people.
friends and neighbors, you know?
Right,
I mean,
but it doesn't help your infrastructure. And the infrastructure has to be maintained. And so do regulations that are come down from the federal agencies, the EPA, and from the state agencies, DEP, that we have to follow those regulations and bring our systems up to what they require.
Now, when they require things to be brought up to speed, there usually you can go after grants for that help with that cost?
Wouldn't that be nice?
It would be nice, no. So
Sometimes.
generally, sometimes there are, but there are less grants out there for utilities than there are for other things. There are other ways of doing it. You have PennVest, which is a loan, low-interest loan. And there are other capability, other things out there, but to get a grant, you would have to primarily go through like the statewide LSA grant. And hopefully that they would fund you for whatever you want to do. But sometimes what they do is they look at it as a utility is like, why aren't you making the money to fix yourself? Because I can tell you on a PennVest loan, if you went for a loan, say you want to do the sewer plant and you're asking for $1 million, they're going to come back and they're going to look at your rate structure and they're going to say, we're not going to give you that money until you bring your rates up to where they should be and be able to cover this loan. And I've seen it. I've seen it here when you did the sewer plant back in '97. That's exactly what happened. Your rates went up when that sewer plant got done because it was a PennVest loan, and PennVest said, you're not getting the money until you bring these rates up. It's what it is. If there were money out there for infrastructure, yeah, we'd look for it. Believe me, we look for, you got Fairview Street, all new sewer line and looped, that was a grant. The high pressure system on this side of town was a grant. The booster station, when I got here, I wasn't here more than 3 weeks, back in '97, and the engineers told me, oh, by the way, your booster station is gonna fail. I got that done on a grant, So they are out there, but it just seems like now they're few and far between, for that. And like I said, the LSA statewide is the biggest one you can go for. You don't want to touch an RCAP.
Anybody else have anything?
We need a motion.
Okay, we need a motion to go into executive session.
I'll make a motion, we go into executive.
I'll second it.
First by Joe Seibert, second by Vinnie. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're going into executive session.
Turn your mics back on. Turn your mics back on, please.
Mike, you're right. Mike and
Hey, you want another one, Jeffrey?
I was gonna eat my candy, but I don't want brown teeth. He's spitting peanuts all over.
Joy will eat it.
Hold it, I'm hungry.
Is that it? Nobody out there?
Nobody out.
Cool. Do we have to do anything coming out?
Okay, we need a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second.
I wanna stay a little.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Adjourned.